In the soft glow of the desert sunrise, where golden sands stretch endlessly toward the horizon, lies a secret whispered through nearly 2,000 years, one that tells a story far stranger than the chronicles etched into Egyptian stone. Today, we step back into a world 1,900 years ago to explore a mystery historians rarely dare to discuss: the possibility that Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, once discovered an ancient blueprint hidden deep within the royal archives. A blueprint so powerful, so unbelievable, that she considered reviving the lost methods behind constructing the Great Pyramids and doing it entirely in secret. This story takes us into the mind of a queen whose intelligence and ambition terrified the Roman Empire. A woman who ruled not just through beauty and diplomacy, but through an extraordinary ability to see centuries into the future. Picture Cleopatra not as Hollywood portrays her, but as she truly was, speaking 9 languages, mastering mathematics, philosophy, astronomy, and politics. She was a strategist with a vision for restoring Egypt's fading glory. By her time, the Great Pyramids had already stood for more than 2,000 years, yet their construction remained a riddle lost to time. But what if Cleopatra found ancient scrolls buried beneath the Library of Alexandria? What if these scrolls described the geometry, engineering, and divine rituals once used by the Old Kingdom pharaohs? For Cleopatra, who saw the pyramids as symbols of unstoppable power, this discovery would have been far more than a curiosity. It would have been a weapon against Rome. A declaration that Egypt was still capable of miracles the world could barely comprehend. Imagine the moment she unrolled the first scroll: diagrams of star alignments, mathematical grids, and sketches of stone blocks carved with impossible precision. The documents hinted at forgotten technologies, leva systems, transport methods, and a group known only as the Engineers of Ra, whose knowledge was whispered to be sacred. Cleopatra understood that if she could resurrect even a fraction of this lost engineering genius, she could create a monument that would immortalize her reign and remind the world that Egypt was more than a province waiting to be conquered. But she also knew the dangers. If Rome learned about her plan, they would destroy it. If her own court discovered it, they might betray her. And so, Cleopatra formed a secret council of architects, priests, and mathematicians sworn to silence under threat of death at night. In candlelit chambers beneath her palace, Cleopatra met with these chosen minds. They pored over ancient texts, trying to interpret the precise angles used to align the pyramids with Orion's belt, the exact measurements required for perfect symmetry, and the mysterious energy rituals believed to awaken the stones. Some scrolls suggested sound frequencies were used to move blocks. Others spoke about thousands of trained workers living in protected villages, not slaves. As many think today, but paid laborers with special skills. Cleopatra listened carefully, imagining the awe such a structure would inspire if built again under her rule. But how could she hide a construction project visible from miles away? Her mind turned to the desert, vast, empty, silent, where secrets could be buried beneath dunes for centuries. Cleopatra selected a remote location far from Alexandria and Memphis, a region untouched by Roman patrols. She ordered the establishment of a concealed worksite disguised as a mining outpost. Supplies were transported only at night. Workers received false assignments, told they were building storage chambers for grain and stone. Only the highest-ranking members of her secret council knew the truth. Cleopatra herself visited the site disguised in a plain linen robe, traveling with only a handful of trusted guards. When she stood in the desert, feeling the wind carve patterns into the sand, she imagined the shape of her own monument rising into the sky, a pyramid smaller than Giza, but built using ancient precision lost to the world. But the challenges were immense. The ancient engineering methods described in the scrolls seemed almost supernatural. Some techniques required tools that no longer existed. Others depended on alignment rituals performed by priests who had died thousands of years earlier. Cleopatra's architects debated relentlessly. Should they attempt to mimic the old ways exactly, or adapt them using the knowledge of their own time? The queen demanded authenticity. She believed that only by following the old methods could the pyramid hold the same mystical power the ancients believed would guide the soul into eternity. She wanted a pyramid not for herself, but as a signal, a message to history that she had revived a sacred craft others had let die. Meanwhile, Rome grew suspicious. Cleopatra's absence from the capital, her movements across the desert, her increased spending on stone, copper, and labor all drew attention. Spies whispered that she was preparing for war. Others claimed she was building a secret vault to hide treasures. None imagined she was attempting something far more extraordinary: to resurrect the architectural genius of a civilization long buried under the sands. Cleopatra knew she was running out of time. She pressured her council to accelerate the project. Even though the precision required for pyramid construction could not be rushed, every angle had to reflect cosmic geometry. Every foundation stone had to be aligned with astronomical markers. The work was slow, fragile, and endlessly demanding. As tension rose, Cleopatra made a bold decision. She ordered the creation of a master blueprint, a single, comprehensive document combining all the ancient knowledge deciphered from the scrolls. This was not meant for her architects. It was meant for the future. Cleopatra believed Rome might destroy her project, but she refused to let the knowledge vanish again. She instructed her scribes to inscribe the blueprint onto a copper tablet, far more durable than papyrus. Myths claim this tablet was later hidden near the Valley of the Kings, sealed inside a chamber accessible only through a riddle carved into stone. Whether this tablet still exists today is one of Egypt's greatest unanswered mysteries. The construction continued for months. But the desert has its own laws. Sandstorms buried equipment. Workers grew exhausted. Supplies ran low. And Rome, sensing something monumental was unfolding, intensified its pressure on Egypt. Cleopatra realized the truth. She could not complete her secret pyramid. The risk was too great. The world was not yet ready. But she had accomplished something even more important. She had recovered ancient wisdom thought to be lost forever. She had discovered how the pyramids were built, why they were aligned to the stars, and what rituals connected them to the afterlife. And she had preserved that knowledge somewhere far from the reach of conquerors in the final months of her life. As her kingdom crumbled and her enemies closed in, Cleopatra is said to have visited the secret desert site one last time. Standing among half-carved stones and unfinished foundations, she placed her hand on the warm limestone and whispered a promise that someday, when the world was ready, Egypt's hidden blueprint would return. Whether her copper tablet still sleeps beneath the sands, waiting to rewrite history, remains one of the most tantalizing mysteries of the ancient world. But one thing is certain: Cleopatra's mind, her ambition, and her secret pursuit of ancient engineering link her forever to the silent giants that still rise from the Giza Plateau. The pyramids were not just monuments of the past, they were symbols of power, eternity, and knowledge that Cleopatra believed must never be forgotten. And so, as we look back 1,900 years into a world of forgotten scrolls, desert conspiracies, and royal secrets, we are left with a haunting truth. Some chapters of history were never recorded, only whispered. And Cleopatra's hidden blueprint remains one of the most extraordinary whispers of them all.